You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
What up, man? This is your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And once again, you know what it is? We're talking amazing independent comic books. And today, we have a seasoned writer, creator, publisher with a dope publishing press, critical entertainment. I got a bag here I'm about to open too with goodies they're going to be showing off. I can introduce the man himself, CEO, Mr. Christopher Reda. How are you doing?
Whoa, how you guys doing? Doing great, Al.
Good, homie. How you doing?
Busy.
I understand that. The life of a CEO, a life of a boss, man, getting things done, putting your because this is not a light package, folks. It's heavy. I can't wait to open this. But it is origin story, homie. Thank you for coming on. But I need to know, we love our origin stories here, Chris. Tell us where you originally from.
So I'm from
love with.
I'm from LA. I'm from like the La Crescenta, Glendale area, so kind of like a suburb in Los Angeles. And I originally wanted to be a computer programmer, so I went to college, and then I got really tired of doing math all the time, and so I went into like film classes and photography classes, and I eventually went to film school. So that's where I kind of learned writing and storytelling. And I kind of fell into comics when I wanted to kind of like take a few of maybe like my screenplays and turn them into comics. And then you kind of have your film already done after you have it illustrated. So that was kind of like the strategy of trying to get into the film industry while also kind of working in this comic industry too.
So were you a fan prior, or again, just later in life you became a fan of comics?
So I read comics a lot as a kid. They kind of helped me learn how to read. So Amazing Spider-Man, Uncanny X-Men, Batman. So that's where I kind of started off with comics. And I made like
access though. How did you get the access? What did you find it on your own, or your parents brought this to you and introduced you? How that happened?
So my dad would take me to the local comic book store. And then I would just pick up the latest issue of Amazing Spider-Man. And eventually I did some subscriptions and stuff like that. So it was really kind of like my mom and my dad who would take me to the local comic book store. And they'd have like the coupons, right? Like the store credit coupons, buy a certain amount of comics. Here's a Monopoly $5 bill, you can bring it back in. So that's where I really got exposed to comics. And then I never thought of it as a career until I started getting into storytelling. And really, like, I fell in love with the medium of comic books on how to tell story visually. That's kind of how it started. Film school, storytelling. And then, the medium is so fantastic. And you get to work with like amazing artists, and you can kind of get to see your stuff come to life. And you can be as creative as possible too.
So talk about stepping into the creative space, making the books, not, from being a fan now, you're making it, was it as easy as you expected, or was there some stumbles along the way? You're like, oh man, I didn't know about this.
I mean, I knew it would be difficult because, I went to film school, and getting in the film and TV industry is as competitive as possible. And there's a lot of similarities. I thought it'd be easier, and it's a little easier. It is, but it is still incredibly difficult. Anything creative, anything where you're a writer, it's very difficult. It's hard to work with other companies. A lot of other companies try to take advantage of you because they know it's creative, and there's a lot of other people who want to do it too. It's hard to be in any industry where it's like, yeah, I love comics. And it's like, yeah, you love comics. How much do you really love comics? Because you're going to be competing against people who do this all the time. And that's all that they do.
And thank goodness we don't have people on the Kirby level nowadays, because if we did, then a lot of people would be out of a job.
I think guys like Kirby now would have a hard time because as fantastic as they are, a company might go, hey, I want to hire this other guy who's half the price and half as good.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like everyone's going for the bottom line.
Everybody's on a budget, man, and there are places that want to rape. So on the budget companies. Let me ask you something here. You're a creator. You have a publishing press. How easy is it for you to navigate marketing wise? For what you're doing now, because a lot of people find that to be one of the most difficult parts. Do you?
Marketing is definitely one of the more difficult parts, especially for a creator, because all us writers, a lot of us creators are so introverted, so it's really hard to like come up on a podcast here and try to kind of expose yourself to the world, and you're talking to everyone, so you really got to get out of that, like, oh, I'm just a writer, like,
yeah,
leave me alone, I'm a writer. No, no matter who you are, even if you were like a Jack Kirby or a Stan Lee today, you got to dive into social media, right? There's all our social media stuff. I can't be an elder millennial and ignore TikTok and YouTube and all these things.
Look at me. I do a tiki and a talkie sometimes. Hey, man, we got to do it, baby. So again, it's just being where you got to be in order to, get your brand out there. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, you're not taking ads out of newspapers or billboards or any of that stuff anymore. Do the free Instagram, do Facebook. You got to do all those things.
Yeah.
And then as an indie, it's if you're not Marvel or DC, you get shown the door real fast,
Unfortunately, what's funny is that Marvel and DC don't even market their books like indies do. Because I get tons of emails from indies, and then repetitive emails, during the course of the week, which is great. I'll be honest, as the press side, Marvel and DC don't really push like that. I got a couple, here and there. Especially now, for example, since Discovery took over DC, holy shit, has their marketing slowed down?
Yeah, it's you think there'd be a lot more marketing trying to get people into the retail shops to buy their stuff, but they don't.
They don't care about that.
Instead, it's all the retailing trying to get people into movie theaters now.
Yeah.
And I want to get some of my stuff made into films too, but you can't just ignore the whole industry that got you into it in the first place.
Absolutely. So, remember where you came from.
So marketing's difficult. I've learned to look for, I like to call them champions of independence, guys like you and Johnny, people who actually reach out to me and try to get me on their shows. And like, for our industry to move forward, we need more people like you and Johnny and other indie press people to push us forward. Otherwise, maybe some of these comic book shops will start closing down faster.
Well, the comic book shops also need to be more aware. I think distribution companies have to kind of invest in as well, because they're already taking enough from you as a creator to distribute. For example, when you go to a bigger distributor, if you're not doing a Kickstarter, I'm like, they need to do something to help you too, marketing wise, on a bigger scale, not just one fucking press. Again, I'm on the press side. I see things, and I get access to things, and sometimes I don't see the things that I would expect that I should see.
Well, I've been working here with Diamond for close to half a year now, and I'm getting used to working with them, and they have some resources that are helpful, in terms of emailing all the retailers. I can reach out to all the retailers through an email. Now, it might cost me some money, and I might be still paying some Marvel DC prices. You know what I mean? So even distributors too need to kind of change their way of thinking a little bit.
I believe so.
So.
It needs to be again. People like to use the term "it takes a village" when they talk about children, but independent community is the same damn approach. It takes a village. The creators need to get together. We're not competing. We all got different projects, different stuff going on. retailers need to like, yo, how can we work together? We all make some money. Ain't that fucking difficult? Marvel DC did it, right? Premiere published like an Image or a Dynamite. They've been doing it, right? I'm not going to say IDW because they've been in trouble financially recently, but that's through their licensing errors. You know what I mean?
Well, look at Image. You know, they've grown so much over the years, and they're really up there with Marvel and DC now.
At this point, yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be big three probably within the next year or two where you can really say, okay, you know, Image is really a big deal because they're starting to take a bigger slice of the pie.
And I worked for Boom Studios for a little bit, and they're really big too.
Oh, they're growing. Yeah, we call those Premiere. IDW, Image, Boom, Dark Horse. You know, those are Dynamite are Premiere. They're right next to Big Two, almost there. In regards to reach.
You know, I for the comic industry to grow, they need companies like my company or Mad Cave or Scout to be even bigger. You know, if comic book stores and Diamond and Lunar want to succeed, they're going to have to kind of get on this new train of independence, because
it's not just a new train; it's the right train. Because again, if distribution companies begin to listen to a fan base and not to their customer, if you will, which is those publishers, but like listen to the fan base, like, yo, you guys are gonna be getting a hell of fucking returns. Do you want to deal with this shit?
Well, I go to comic book shops and check them out and ask them questions, and a bunch of them are like, customers who come in, half of them go, "Oh, where's Spider-Man?" and the other half go, "Where's the indie stuff? Where's the like new different things?" And it's hard for a retailer.
And also manga, because they take a big slice of the pie. My daughter is one of that generation that she goes to a comic book shop and she goes straight to the manga section if they have one.
Well, there it is. Like the audience that used to be buying comic books here, they're going to manga now for that taste of creativeness, And I think if comic book stores are carrying more independence, they'll get bought up more. They will, because audiences are looking for new content.
Agreed. Because wouldn't you agree that manga just in its style, if you will, is independent? These are new characters, new worlds that people eat up. It is independent. It's just not called indie. It's manga because it's not from here.
Yeah, I mean they're comics, and they're everyone's trying to figure out why manga is doing good and comics are doing worse. Look at how the creators are treated. They have creative control. They're praised of being creators. Here, it's more like
the story dies with them. Understand me? That there's no continuation. If they don't finish the story, by the time they pass, the story will die with them. You're not getting any more.
That's why it's hard to follow Spider-Man, because it's like, which Spider-Man am I following now?
Oh my God. And you talk about that. See, all right, so I'm going to open this bag in just one second, but talk to me about that, though, and the world of critical entertainment. Is it going to be a convoluted mess like it? Like, what is the approach that you're taking with critical entertainment? How is critical going to be different before I open this baggie right here?
So we're trying to do a lot of original stuff. I'll work with a lot of different genres, right? So we have a cowboy short, we have a sci-fi short, and then we have a zombie tale. We got a zombie tale here.
Ooh.
So that's 3 different genres for our first 3 books. So you're not getting a superhero book of one character, a superhero book of another character, and a superhero book of another character, and then they come together in a multiverse or whatever. That's not what we're really about. And with the film background, I try to do things like Zombie Zero here is like a film. It'd be, if you read this, it would be like if you went to a movie theater and watched it.
That's what I want. You know what? I'm going to rip up my baggie, folks. If that bad boy's in there, I'm about to flip. Hold on in here. Hold on. Hey, folks. Be like Christmas. Heck yeah. Hold on. Let me put myself over here. Opening this bad boy. Look at that nice little bubble packaging. Oh, snap. Wait a minute. Hey. We got this right here.
So you get a little packet. All the retailers in Diamond got a packet similar to that.
Ooh, oh, look at this cover. We have Lifeboat, folks. Look at that.
We got Lifeboat that comes out in 2 days.
In 2 days. Look at this. Sexy that look, folks.
And that's by our other writer, Mason Mendoza.
Oh, snap. No wonder she was heavy. I got it. Oh, snap. Oh, hold on a minute. Already after my heart. Black and white, baby. I love it. I fucking love it. Oh my God, look at this art.
Right. So that's about the last zombie at the end of a zombie apocalypse.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it's a twist on the zombie genre. So once again, trying to be creative and original. There's so many zombie stories out there, and they're usually about the beginning of a zombie apocalypse. But since we have one that,
folks, look at that. Fuck. Beautiful.
Yeah, we got art by Leandro Rizzo.
Jesus.
And I've been working with him for almost a decade now.
Bro, I can't stop looking at this. It looks so fucking great.
That book comes out on the 25th. And that was really my first like big book.
Oh my God, this pinup thing you got here looks. Oh my God. All right. There we go, the cowboy with many hats. Christopher right here, got his name all over that bad boy right there. Look at this beautiful cover.
Now, that book came out on the 15th. So
she's already out, baby.
So hopefully it's in your shop. And if not, you can just tell them and they'll order it for you.
And can they also visit the website if they needed something?
So they can also go to the website and order it as well.
Hey, right there below.
We get a little bit better margins. But
support the shop, baby. Look at this.
I want to support shops, right?
Look at this. This Elon ship, does he get through the firmament? No.
And that's Planetary Expansion that comes out on December 13th.
Oh, really? Oh, man. I'm not going to show anything off in here, but let's see. Let me take a look inside. Let me see how I feel.
You can show them.
Oh, nice. Heavy cup. Ooh.
Yeah, and then some of our floppies are a little larger, right? So even if we're charging $5, you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck.
A little bit. I mean, look at this, folks. This is not a Marvel book. You get to read. You understand? You're not going to put this book down in 5 minutes like most big 2 books. You're going to have a nice, good reading. You're going to get your money's worth. Like, yo, along with beautiful, look, and some beautiful art. Come on now. You see this? Come on.
Yeah, we have art from Alonzo Molina Gonzalez on that.
Bro, chapter 1, Earth. Man, so how did you choose the titles that you want to this first release?
Well, we've kind of had these books for a while, and we tried to build a library up before we went to Diamond, so we could at least release a few books at a time. And we went with these because Zombie Zero is probably our best seller, right? We wanted that to be in the first month. As one of our really strong books. And then The Cowboy with Many Hats was like my first short with Tad Galusha, who's a really talented artist. So we wanted to kind of start people easy with two shorts, and then, you know, a jab and a punch for Zombie Zero.
When the sheriff of an old western town is framed for murder by the state marshal, he must realize that all things pass before he loses hope to move on.
And right, something else to differentiate us. We focus a lot on theme. So if you're reading a book, there's a purpose to it.
There should be in a story. I mean, for real. I don't want an endless shit. I want something that give me some oomph, some of that wepa. Give me something to effing feel for. Because that's what I look for in a comic book. That's why, again, I was a fan of Walking Dead. When Robert Kirkman brought that, again, you were connecting to characters. Look, a character-driven story. of zombies, and the focus wasn't even the zombies.
No,
I mean, how great is that?
It's a brilliant book, and you know, it's about character and story and theme, and that's kind of the problem we're seeing with some of the existing titles, right? And we're not just pumping out books once a month, so our books are much more well thought out, more times put into it. I don't rush the artists. I don't
I mean, again, look, folks, see what I'm saying? Look, a different book. Look at the amount of word bubbles. Look at the beautiful coloring, the art. I mean, shit, you ain't going wrong with something this gorgeous. And again, from an amazing independent publisher, right there, baby. Whoa, dude, this book looks fantastic. I can't wait to read it because
and that's Mason Mendoza's first book here, our first solo book. That's his first solo book. So how did you scoop the team that you have under the Critical Entertainment banner? Because wow, this is talented staff you got right here, bro. Well, Mason, he's my business partner. We went to college together. So we kind of have the classic, like, oh, we came up with this story 10 years ago, and hopefully we'll have a and so like that's this book here. It's called Minion.
Yo, wait, hold on, man. Let me put that on the bigger screen because that looks fire. Look at that.
So this is actually kind of our superhero story.
Ooh. Oh, that's back home right there. Is that Brooknam right there, bro?
It's actually called New York.
All right.
And this is a story about the minions of a supervillain who fight for control over the city. And then they have to fight the cops, and then they also have to fight the main superhero in the city, who always constantly beats them up all the time, and there's not much they can do about it. So
what am I doing? Here we go. Put it on the bigger screen again. So keep talking. I just want to show people off the little packet that you sent, right? We got bookmarks. Oh, wait a minute. We got some bookmarks. We got bookmarks. I'm gonna be giving some of these away then.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah, folks! You want some bookmarks? You better be commenting. All right, hit me up on the DMs, man. We got signed, and I'll send you. Oh, look at this! Wow! And then he was teasing me the cover on the flyer, and it was right there. This is dope.
All the comic book shops will have some of those bookmarks, so if they're still available, they're free. So if you go in your local comic book shop and they've gotten our package, you can maybe ask for them or try to pick them up if they have them.
Oh, don't you worry, man. This is dope. Thank you. I'm keeping one, guys. All right. Shit, I got books to read, and I need all the bookmarks I could get because I'm reading too many things at the same time. How do I stay concentrated? I do not know, but this is what we do, right? But we're quickly gonna tell you, man. So, what's the long-term goal? So, how are you gonna keep this going? Like, how many? What's the first phase of titles? Are you thinking phase 2, phase 3? Like, what's the plan for Critical?
Okay, so you've kind of seen phase 1 here, and I kind of wanted to announce our phase 2, which is going to be 2024, right? First quarter of 2024. We have a few books coming out. March 27th is The First Americans. This is a new series, limited series.
That cover looked dope too, though. What the?
This is about a tribe of Paleo Indians as they travel from from Siberia into North America for the first time 14,000 years ago.
Whoa, okay.
Right? So
nice.
It's basically this tribe that follows this pack of mammoths, this elusive pack of mammoths. And it kind of follows what it would be like to enter North America for the very first time. This is the first time humans ever walked into North America. So it's kind of a survival story on what it would be like to first go into North America, deal with all these animals and terrain that people have never seen before.
You know what's crazy, brother? just read that they're already growing a mammoth in a lab, based on the DNA they found several years ago. So, wouldn't it be funny if the release of your book coincides with the announcement of the release of a woolly mammoth? Of the, the creation of
Well,
recreation. They
well,
call this a de-extinction event. De-extinction event. I'm like, all right, that's funny. Okay.
oh yeah. So yeah, a lot of research on this book, and then in this one there's no dialogue. There's basically no dialogue, right?
Oh, it's like primal, bro. You're killing me, bro. Love it.
No dialogue. Let me get one of the really cool pages here.
What I'm saying is like primal, right? Because primal was a cartoon with no dialogue, just grunts and roars.
Yeah, grunts and roars. He has to fight a saber-toothed cat in the first issue, right?
Ooh.
So a lot of these animals we'd have to survive against that we no longer do.
I think this is great for fans of Primal. I don't know if you've seen that cartoon, but if you have not.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of research, right? The mammoth research, a lot of it's based off of a mammoth skeleton they found in Sierra Madre, New Mexico, where they found these Clovis spear points with the corpse of a mammoth. So that's when they were first theorized that humans were in North America 14,000 years ago, even way before when they thought they were first here.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in our history again, who knows what lies underneath?
But as you can tell, like, this is different genre, different audience. A lot of our strategy goes, okay, this person likes zombie books. They come up for the zombie book. Here, check out this other stuff. Oh, you like sci-fi? Come here. We have 2-3 different sci-fi books. Maybe you like this cowboy book. So we get a lot of different people who come up to our booth who are just like, man, I like that cowboy cover, or man, I like sci-fi and this stood out to me. So we really are trying to build a wide audience as much as we can.
Excellent. As you should, because I think that's what indie needs to do. Diversify content. You don't depend on one title. Build that team. Was it fun to build your team? Was that a tedious task for you to build your team of creators? Like, was it an easy task?
Partnering up with Mason was easy since we've been great friends for a very long time, since college. Getting the artists was difficult. I've been working with 3 different artists for about 10 years now, 8 to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So like Alonzo, I've been working with. This is issue 2 of Planetary.
Oh, word.
And this comes out February 28th. So
look, and he's showing you books already, folks. This is ready to go, baby. Look at it.
Go. I met him through DeviantArt, which used to be a good place to look up artists. Okay. Now it's not.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I think
Fiverr is the place to go to people now, apparently.
Fiverr. It used to be digital webbing. The hardest part was getting artists. I've met Tad Galusha at Emerald City Comic-Con, and that's when I started working with him. I did the Cowboy with Many Hats with Tad.
I'm sure it's easier when you meet them in person, right? and can have a conversation as opposed to this remote stuff.
The remote stuff, it's kind of cool because I work with an artist in Peru and an artist in Buenos Aires, and it's almost like having a pen pal. Remember, like pen pals, they make you write a letter to someone, you get it back a month later, and it's like, cool, this person's in a different part of the world. Now I work with 2 artists who are in different parts of the world, and it's pretty interesting. They're great. Alonzo and Leandro are great artists and talented, and they want to be in this market too. And you think it's hard to be a creator here. When you're in Argentina, it's a little harder to get to Comic-Con. You know what I mean? Wow. So I've been working with these people. We have Prisoners of Ghostland up there. Alonzo Molina Gonzalez did the art on this.
Say word, featuring Nick Cage himself. I mean, Nick is all over the place nowadays too. This is dope.
Yeah, so that is a prequel to the Prisoners of the Ghostland movie,
Cool.
starring Nicolas Cage. So really, that comic just intros the movie. And kind of the idea is, if you like the comic, you can go see the film, or if you like the film, you can come back and see, well, what happened before it.
And look, folks, look at their titles here. This beautiful website. Check it out. Again, let me leave it on there while we're touring a little bit. But again, look at all you can get that's available now. As you saw, beautiful books that no ads, right?
There's no ads in our books, other than our own ads at the very end, right? So we don't stick
where
ads.
they belong. Don't interrupt my reading.
we put our ads in the very back of the book when you're already done. So, I like the Netflix model a little bit better than the Amazon, Prime, where it's like, you get ads in the middle of your show and it just breaks it up. And
especially at the good part, like, how dare you? But right there, folks, you can see they're also listed in Diamond Previews World. So if you're one of those fans that get these books, because I know some that do that they live by this is their Bible. So right there, folks, they are listed there. So show the love. They got books that are coming out this week. In Lifeboat, you got Zombie Zero, which is the 29th, and already available is the Cowboy joint right here. All right. So you got to show this love. I mean, check out this website. You got
trailers,
previews, teasers. You got everything. They're all over the place. They're available by Amazon, Legacy Comics, and Car Shout. Is that one of the retailers that support?
I have a list of retailers in LA that have our books already that have been supporting us. So
hey, Young Global Comics, my peeps right there.
They're very indie friendly. They're very
absolutely. Eric and Chris built a beautiful app over here, and now that Comicsology is basically officially dead. Thank you, Amazon. I mean, I think there's no better alternative than Global Comics.
Don't get me started on Comicsology. It was so good. It was good,
dude. Yeah. I met David way before Comicsology was Comicsology, when they were trying to do storefronts for stores, digital storefronts, right before they birthed the idea of becoming a digital storefront themselves.
We used to sell a lot of books on Comicsology. They tried to get indies up there, and then the second Amazon bought it, boom, we lost all those sales.
Because indie is a threat. So of course a corporation is going to try to squash the threat, to the bigger corporation, their homies, that'll give them better deals on shit. You feel me? This is all motive. And again, if they can't control the IP, they want to squash the IP. That's how I feel that this business really treats creators. If they can't own you, they're going to fucking squash you.
Well, as we were talking before, it's the low-hanging fruit. It's everyone's still stuck on this low-hanging fruit, and the stores that are doing better, they carry independent books. They have new and interesting things to generate new readers.
Oh,
not just watch old ones.
I'll tell you, there's a shop in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I gotta remember the name of these shops, man. I'm so sorry, but it's in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. When I went into this shop, I was floored. Only indies on the walls, whether indie comics, indie magazines, indie books, like novels from independent. I'm like, yo, this is all indie. He goes, yep, that's all I want to support. I'm like, yo, I'm in love with the shop. Thank you for doing that. You know what I mean? That's what we need.
The people who are going to adapt are the ones who are going to survive.
Absolutely agree.
That's what it's going to be, because they're watching the low-hanging fruit get worse and disappear, and then they don't know what to do.
Absolutely. And then you guys are the future anyway, because everybody that's anyway in the big top now started at the bottom. They started as independent. So folks, don't stress these guys once they're A-list level. You know what? Show the love from the beginning. Be there. Follow their journey. Let me tell you, very interesting. Again, based on who I've spoken to and seeing growth in so many people, even fellow team members, seeing them, like I don't know how to write reviews to. Holy shit! I just wrote my first novel a couple years later. Like holy shit, proud of them, And this is the whole thing: support independent creation and creativity as a whole. It's a
Right.
beautiful thing.
And it's not just me, of course. Look at all the great indie titles that are out there. And if you go to comic conventions, you get access to it. But if you go into your local comic book shop, you might not. And yeah, it is a lot harder for someone to go up to their retailer and go like, can I order this book? I don't know how to order this book, stuff like that. There's got to be easier entry points for people. And I just think indie's the way, places like us, Scout. It's sad seeing Aftershock kind of file for bankruptcy, and a few other.
Yeah, unfortunately, from what I understand, they did things that weren't cool, similar to what Action Lab did. Action Lab was another one. They started off so good, and they wanted to be an IP hungry house, and unfortunately screwed up so many creators, sadly.
Well, another reason why Mason and I made this company is to protect our IPs. And I work for a producer, Michael Mendelson, the one I did Prisoners of the Ghostland comic with. That's one of his films. And he's looking for comic book IP to pick up. And it's hard to pick up someone's IP when it's at Aftershock or one of these other bigger companies, because they don't want to let go of the IP.
No.
Or I need to get a yes from 8 different people at a company.
And which is bullshit, because again, the IP doesn't belong to you as a whole, because I thought it was creator owned, and you're card blocking because you want a piece. That is so fucking wrong. Allow your creator, because again, listen, your books are going to sell more when you let the creator create and let them have their opportunity. What the fuck? It's greed in the industry, Chris, man. It's just insane.
We picked up someone else's comic book. I can't say who it is, but the publisher she was under gave her no problems at all selling the rights to it. And she's been the only one that we've really been able to pick up a script from or an IP from, because some of these other companies like Aftershock, we tried to get a book and it was impossible. And I went to the creator first. I was like, hey, we're interested in your book, let who at Aftershock do I have to talk to? And once I started talking with them and trying, I'm in a Zoom meeting with like 8 people, and it's like, what's going on? And they didn't follow up. They weren't aggressive. And knowing the film industry, you have to be aggressive, because my boss, he's not going to be aggressive. He's not going to be going out to Michigan or the Midwest to just sign a contract with you, So some of these comic book companies that are just IP houses, they're what IP have they sold out? What films have they made? So if you're a new indie creator and you go to some of these publishers and they give you 8%, first of all, you do all the work. They don't market for you either.
Nope.
So they go, you got to do the marketing as well. So it's like, why don't I just have my own company and do it myself and get all the profit? If all the
profit, you book yourself, you help yourself, you help your own company. Again, that's what you gotta do. Because again, why sign on with someone that's not gonna help? It really is no point. It's just
Zombie Zero has been optioned, and it's easier to get it optioned when I'm the only one who has the rights to it. And
so they didn't get on a call with 8 Zoom people.
No, Michael Mendelson picked me up at a Comic-Con, and it was much easier for him to deal with me and pick up an IP from me instead of a full company who wants to be involved. And like, how can a company in the Midwest be involved with filmmaking when they can't even go to the meetings? They can't make any of the meetings out here. They don't really know how the industry works. And They get the same treatment that they give to all their creators, because my producer, he won't care, like there's 100 other publishers behind them trying to sell IP to him. So it comes back around. If you treat creators like they're not worth your time, wait till you get treated like you're not worth this movie producer's time.
Absolutely. Yeah, karma's real, folks. Karma's real. You know what I mean? But this is why he's over here with Critical Entertainment to bring us new things, new flavors, new tastes, new books, new reads, independent, the best right here. Go to your local comic shop, man. Tell them you want some Critical Entertainment on the shelves. I'm telling you, did you see do I have to show them off again, guys? I mean, one more time, just for you guys, because again, I'm happy. I have some reading to do tonight, baby. I mean, Cowboy with many hats. Look at that gorgeous cover, right? Chris' old name right there, all right? The planetary expansion. I mean, I'll give you a tease on the inside, and I can't wait. Oh my God, like dig into this. Look at it. Look at the girth on this bad boy, baby. This is the graphic.
That's a book, right?
Look at that spine. Look at this self porn right here, baby. All right. Right? Oh, we got one more too. That's right. Boom. I mean, gorgeous book. Support indie, folks. This is where it's at. I'm not talking shit here. I'm talking the truth. Yeah, everybody complaining about Big Two. Why complain? Just drop them and just look for your alternative. That's all.
There's a lot of creative stuff.
Complain with your dollars. Don't complain with your mouth. Complain with your dollars. Support indie. So, all right, two things before we go. First up, I know we're winding down on the year. Any cons that you're going to be making any appearances at for the rest of the year?
We'll be at LA Comic-Con, I think December 1st through 3rd. So we'll be there. We have a nice booth, and LA is our hometown. I live like 10 minutes from LA Comic-Con, so it's my favorite con.
Easy commute. And do you know your booth number in case any listeners
all right
in the LA area?
Let me get my booth number out here for you.
Did you just put out a Rolodex, bro? Oh, I thought you were there fumbling through paper. Like
I'm not that old school. Booth 1314.
1314 at LA Comic Con, baby, December 1 through 3rd. Check out Support Indie. And get yourself a nice signed book. Pick up these beautiful books. Then you're gonna listen. That's actually a great thing. You guys are gonna see this firsthand how dope they are. All right. And now, lastly, always about advice, brother. Like, what type of advice would you give to any up and comers trying to step into the game now? And of course, if they wanted to work with Critical, how can they?
If you want to work for Critical, or at least, if you're an artist or a writer and want to get to know us, go to these comic conventions, go to LA Comic-Con, WonderCon, San Diego. Those are the main ones we go to. And that's the easiest way to get on our radar, is to meet us in person, because we get submissions too. And it's tough. We can't take on too many new people right now. We have one new creator in the wings. We're waiting on work for, but really, yeah, come to these cons. And this goes to advice too. You need to attend Comic-Con. You need to attend San Diego Comic-Con. You got to get out to WonderCon. And if you're on the East Coast, right, you got to go to New York and Chicago, but you have to go. You need editors and publishers to see you over and over and over again, right? They need to know, hey, you want to be a writer, you want to be an artist. If I see you 3-4 times at a convention, then I know you're serious. Then I know you're going to stick around, right? Same deal goes for a reader. When they read your books, they want to know, okay, is Planetary Expansion number 2 actually going to come out, right? Is number 3 actually going to come out? So it goes the same thing with creators. If you want to work, go to these cons. And then, mostly as a writer, protecting your IP is important. Mm-hmm. So be careful of publishers who will they'll publish you, and they want X percentage of your IP if it gets made into a film. That's a red flag, because you're going to have to go through them to get a yes. And they might go, well, this producer, it's not Sony, it's not Paramount. It's like, yeah.
Well, they got you by the proverbial balls if
Yeah.
you got your own IP.
And it's like, bro, you're not Paramount. You're not Sony. What film have you made? So protect your rights. I don't know how Image is or some of the other creator owns, but make sure you keep your rights. Keep your media rights.
I see projects come out from them, so I think it seems to be pretty fair. I hope.
So yeah, and then if you're working with artists, get used to them. Have them do a short first. Know what it's like working with them, right? Once you know they can complete a story, a short, throw them on a 100-page book. If they can complete that, throw them on your, long-term series.
Hey, man, throw them on your version of a War and Peace type novel.
And I guess treat them well too,
Absolutely.
If treat people how you want to be treated. So, don't be a jerk to artists. Give them time too. I'm very lenient with my artists. They're fantastic and talented. So,
and it shows in the work, at the end of the day, because beautiful product comes out because you give them space to create.
Yeah, you got to give them space to create. And that's my other advice too. If you do ever sell, you get one of your things optioned, you're going to let it go. You got to let it go. And they're going to change it and all that stuff. And until you're Alan Moore or Robert Kirkman or whatever, then you can be a little bit more like, don't change this or whatever. But, learn to let it go. That's another thing that the producers, they'll be like, oh, look at this guy. He thinks his book's the next Fast and the Furious. Who are you? He gets that too. He gets, oh, my agent says this is the next Fast and the Furious franchise. And it's like, no, it's not.
No. We don't want to see 13, 15 movies. I mean, where are we going to get up to? 40? Is that the case? We're going to see them retire to Social Security in fast buggies, the three-wheeler scooters.
Just a bunch of bald-headed guys fighting each other.
We got to see that. The old and the petty. That's what I want to call it at the end. That's what's going to happen. The old and the petty. You still mad about that? Yeah, we are. So, bro, I love it. I love what you're doing with the company. I love the comic books. Thank you for your generosity. I can't wait to read these and sit down and enjoy it. Pleasant surprise, and I do love my zombies. So,
well,
I'll be the first one that I'm going to eat up.
Thank you, Al. I mean, anyone who helps the independent community, I think, is kind of like champions of comic books right now, because if this industry wants to grow, it's going to have to be indies, and it's going to have to be people like you who take more risks, just like we're taking risks on independent titles, for views. You're trying to get a lot of views too. So I'll share this podcast. It's up to me to share your guys' stuff too. Yeah, so as
a collaborative, symbiotic relationship in these podcasts, but it's all about just spreading the word of new things, options. Folks? This is what it is about. Stop complaining. I see so many people so angry. Yes, I know that they're hurting your favorite characters, but guess what? When you're older, they're no longer being written for you. So guess what? In the world of indie, there's tons being written for you. And I mean tons. And Critical Entertainment is right there bringing you some next level stuff that's going to be, like I said, self-porn, or, sitting in your comic collection box and be, yo, guys, have you seen this? It's one of those. Support indie, support Chris, support Comic Crew, because we're indie ourselves that support indie. All right? Thank you, Chris, for your time. I appreciate you, homie.
Thank you, Al.
All right, man, you know what it is. Support Comic Crusaders all over the place. We got the website, we got the podcast, we got the extended family, we got Undercover Capes. Alcho tells you everything. Hasta la próxima. Wepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.